Hi, everyone. Welcome to another exciting edition of Words, Images, and Worlds. I'm Jason Dehart, and on this episode, I'm delighted to be talking with author Ama Ofosua Lieb. Ama, thank you for joining.
Thank you for having me, Jason. What a treat.
A pleasure, absolutely. Always glad to talk authoring, and we're talking about the Goldenborn book on this episode. So we'll get into that in just a few minutes, but I always like to ask what gets people into authoring. I'm an English teacher, literacy person, so please tell us a bit about your origin story.
Yeah, I think I've always been a storyteller. Like, I love the oral tradition of telling stories. And so, anytime growing up, whether it's babysitting kids or, raising my own kids, I just love the idea of having people gather to hear a story. And I think but I guess I'm pulling from my West African roots in that we have griots who are storytellers. And it's just something I've always enjoyed. And I think eventually I transitioned into putting the words on a page.
Love it, love it. I love that tradition of storytelling, and the little bit that I know about West African mythology, I think probably comes from like Tristan Strong and Kwame and some of those authors, as well as some comics here and there. So please tell us a little bit about Goldenborn. What was the spark for that? And then hopefully we can dig into some mythological roots as well.
Yeah, so I am a big fan of Anansi, the West African
Hmm.
iconic character stories, god of stories and trickery, and loved those stories growing up. And so when my kids were young, I spent a lot of time telling them bedtime stories, and I wove in Anansi stories, and they loved them. They loved them so much they wanted to go to bookstores to find books about Anansi written by authors from Ghana. And this was several years ago. And we couldn't find any, and they were disappointed. And so I told them not to worry. Mom's going to write one for you. They took that as a promise. And so I was like, okay, I need to deliver on this promise. It took me several years to get it done, but it was really fun um, adventure for me, and it was just fun for them to kind of see me stick to a dream and an idea and, get it towards the end and make it happen.
Nice, nice. What energizes you most? It sounds like there's a nice family dynamic there, but what energizes you most and intrigues you about West African mythology?
I just love how rich it is and how, especially with the Nancy stories, they are told to sort of give a lesson,
Mhm.
either like some morality or, something serious, but also something humorous. And it just makes it easy to digest, and I think that's what allowed my kids to really fall for it. And Anansi, especially for me, is such a has such duality. Sometimes he's a villain, sometimes he's a hero, and that just makes it so interesting to follow his adventures. So yeah, so just mythology in general is just such richness and in a way that it's still entertaining,
Mhm.
and so those are the things that draw me to it.
What was it like to draw on this history of storytelling and kind of fold that into your own narrative? What was that process like for you?
Daunting and exciting at the same time, right? Because in my mind, I wanted to get it right. Get it on the page and have it be right. But then I realized that if it's right for me, then it's right for the story, right? Like, I remember feeling this pressure to get it correct for the entire nation of Ghana, and I realized that I can't do that because in Ghana there's 75 ethnic groups, 80 languages, and you can't, everybody has a different version of an Anansi story, or everyone has a different way of expressing culture and food. And the only way I could get it right was to represent my version of Ghana, right? What's important to me,
Mhm.
what felt authentic to me. And so once I realized that that was the way to go, it made the storytelling a bit easier. And the plot and the rhythm and the pacing started opening up for me a bit more once I settled on, hey, you have to write this for yourself in your version, your experience of your Ghanaian culture.
Love it, love it. Um, Would you like to continue exploring this world in your creativity? What is next for you in the creative path?
Yeah, I'm currently working on the sequel of this,
Nice.
the Goldenborn world, which is a lot of fun right now. Don't have any information in terms of release date or anything yet, but it really is fun to return to the world and the characters and come up with a new adventure for everyone.
Love it, love it. I've had the chance to sample the what the publisher shared from the book. It's quite nice, enjoyable. What do you hope that readers are taking away with them, thinking about while they're reading, after they're reading Goldenborn?
Well, so Goldenborn follows our 17-year-old protagonist, and she has a father who's in magically induced coma. And the way she handles her grief is to take a job investigating supernatural crimes with a secret agency. And one of her cases leads her down a dangerous path. And that's when she comes across a Nancy, and he offers to save her father. But in return, what he wants threatens to destroy everything she's ever believed in and some of the people she loves. And so when readers get into this world, I would love for them to, first of all, enjoy the adventure. It was fun to weave fantasy, light sci fi with mystery. That was a lot of fun for me. I hope readers feel that joy and fun. And I hope they also, if Ghanaian mythology and culture is new to them, I hope it sparks some curiosity for them to, go down a path of learning a bit more. But at the end of the day, I think it's a universal story. You've got a protagonist who is navigating a lot of the things that we all navigate: family relationships and obligations, friendship dynamics. And then she has this external factor that, knocks her off the path she thinks she's on. And then she has to figure out how to rewrite her story and move down a path that helps her feel more empowered. So I hope people, are able to relate to her struggles and her triumphs, because I think at the end of the day, we all go through some version of that.
Yeah, yeah, well said. And I love how the YA space opens up stories for young people, but also people of all ages. There's so much to relate to, and you also have the mythological, the supernatural that's woven in that provides some nice fantasy factor as well.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a big reader of YA myself. I think it's a lot of fun. And like you said, it just opens up so many different adventures. And I love what YA authors do and how they pull us into their worlds. And it's fun to now be a part of that.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, you mentioned finding out more. Where can readers go? Where can they learn more about Goldenborn, your work, and follow along as the story is coming?
Yeah, so I am mainly on Instagram. My handle is Ama Writes Magic, but you can also find me on my website, which conveniently is the same thing, amawritesmagic.com. So
Nice.
those are the places where you can find me posting or not posting. But yeah, that's where you'll find me online.
Wonderful, wonderful. I am following you now. Is there anything that we've missed in the talk through that you want to make sure to share before we close out? I always like to ask that.
Oh, I just hope that people give Goldenborn a chance, and when they do and they enjoy it, sharing is caring. Love for them to, pass it along to a friend, colleague, sibling, anyone that they think would enjoy Goldenborn. And feel free to reach out to me on social media. I love being tagged, and I try to respond to people as time allows me to.
Wonderful, wonderful. Well, many thanks, Alma. Thank you for the conversation. Thank you for the work, and glad to have you back anytime to talk about the chapters that are on the way.
Thank you, Jason. This is a lot of fun. Thank you so much for having me